Okay. Heath's buy lows: Lad McConkey, Terry McLaurin, Chris Olave, Quinshon Judkins, and then if you're 0-2, or no, if you're 2-0 and you're targeting the 0-2 team that has Rashid Rice, that's the one you could buy low for. But McConkey, no red zone, no green zone, no end zone targets yet. 7 targets per game. Target per route run rate down a little bit. Keenan Allen has more targets. Quentin Johnson has the same amount of targets, so not too concerned.
And people are really freaking out about Lad McConkey. He has a 23% target share. They've just kind of done away with targets to the tight ends. And it's 70% of their targets going to 3 wide receivers so far. If that changes, I don't think it's Lad's target share that's going down. He's at 23%. I have him at 24% projected at the beginning of the season. I have basically zero concern about Lad McConkey. Yes, there's more competition than we expected. Although I said before the year I thought Allen was getting 7 targets a game. The pie is going to be bigger than we thought it was in terms of the passing game.
It's 8.5 targets per game for Keenan Allen so far. It's 7 for McConkey, and it's 7 for Quentin Johnson. Johnston and McConkey have the exact same target share. I think this is kind of a byproduct of. Is it a byproduct of the Chargers not being able to run the ball, or just the byproduct of the Chargers saying, listen, we've got a great quarterback, we're going to use him, we're going to spread the ball around? Or could it just be both of those things?
I mean, I think it's probably a little bit of both, but I think the really interesting thing is, I don't know if anybody said this, but Keenan Allen has more targets than Lad McConkey, and Quentin Johnston has the same number of targets as Lad McConkey.
I heard that.
Yeah. But McConkey, okay, so he is averaging the 7 targets per game. When he went off down the stretch, he was averaging like 7.5 targets per game.
Right.
So he's shown he was wide receiver 11 per game in that stretch last year, his last 10 games. He's shown that he can be that good. But, still we wanted to see more targets per game. But, okay, Lad McConkey's buy low. Terry McLaurin, Chris Olave.
I mean, McLaurin and Jamie was on this before the season. I think Dave probably was too, that McLaurin get off to a slow start because of the holdout. That doesn't mean he's going to be bad all year. He had 9 targets last week. Now we get the Jaden Daniels injury, so people might be even more scared of him. I think it's a really good opportunity, especially if you don't have to have a win this week, to buy low on McLaurin, who I still think is going to be a borderline wide receiver 2 rest of season.
Olave?
I've been really encouraged by the way that they're distributing the football and the way that they're using him. He's moving around the formation more. He's working out of the slot more. And there are, not this week, but there are some opportunities coming up for the Saints in the pass game schedule where I think that they will have better production. They have in the next couple of months, the Giants, the Patriots, the Bears, the Panthers a couple of times, the Dolphins. I think that it could be Olave was almost my biggest riser, and he hasn't even done much to earn that yet.
So with McLaurin and Olave, would you give up Javonte Williams for either of them?
You have to get more than that.
You have to get more than that for Javonte?
I think you should.
Okay.
But I think there's a chance both those guys are better than him, but I think you should be able to get more than that right now.
Yeah. I would not do it for McLaurin. I would do it for McConkey.
Wait, you would give up Javonte for McConkey? You would not give up Javonte for McLaurin?
Correct.
Okay. And then Quinshon Judkins we discussed, and Rashid Rice. Basically, I'll just ask you this. Do you expect Rashid Rice to be Rashid Rice when he gets back?
I expect him to be a top 15 wide receiver from week 7 on.
Okay. And there you go. So obviously you have to wait 4 more weeks, but you should be, if you're in a position of strength, go find the 0-2 Rashid Rice manager.
And what was the trade you just made? Javonte.
I traded Javonte for Rashid Rice. I was 2-0. He was 0-2. I have Ken Walker, Travis Etienne, and Quinshon Judkins on that team, so I felt like Javonte was a little bit expendable.
You traded your best running back.
That was the response from Twitter, as I traded my best running back.
I feel like Xavier Worthy could have a big month because he's probably coming back this week, right? I mean, yeah.
I'm not sure if are we at probably coming back this week, or are we at possibly coming back this week?
I think we'll find out today. I think it's possibly.
All right.
Today's a big day. Today's a big day for injuries.
But Thursday's the big day.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if Jaden Daniels does nothing, Justin Fields is still in the concussion protocol. Like we got a lot of guys that are coming into the week with injuries. If they don't do anything, it's going to be a little bit of a panic.
Okay, Dave, buy low on Kyren Williams, Chase Brown, AJ Brown, and Matthew Golden. Start with Kyren Williams.
Kyren Williams is still dominating touches. He's got 19 in each of his first 2 games. He'll be due for touchdowns in big games along the way. The only thing that really worries me, I'm not as worried about Blake Corum as you guys might be. I do think the Rams have a tough schedule moving forward. And Stafford's been playing great. He's been throwing the ball really well. And of course, there's always the concern about what happens if Stafford misses time. What does that do to the run game? That all comes into play, but you can't argue with the workload that Kyren Williams has had so far.
Javonte or Kyren?
I think I still have Kyren higher than Javonte.
I do too.
Yeah, Chase Brown is next on your buy low list. So I said Chase Brown that I would take him. I think I said round 4 if we were drafting today. Do you value him higher than that? 12-team league?
In that range, if not a little bit higher. The good is that he gets a lot of touches. He's still fast, but bad. The offensive line isn't good. I mentioned the Vikings had the second toughest schedule rest of season, according to my projections, but the Bengals have the worst. So those things come into play, but he should get more targets as the season rolls along.
Chase Brown. Okay. Would you rather have Zay Flowers or Chase Brown?
Brown.
Would you? Who's like a? Okay, let me take a look at this most traded list here. Would you trade Travis Etienne? No way. You'd take Etienne over Brown, right?
Nope.
You take Brown over Etienne.
Mm-hmm.
Jamie Heath, Travis Etienne, or Chase Brown?
This feels like
I'm still Chase Brown, but it's close now.
Feels like such a trap. I think I would still take Chase Brown. I will say, looking at the advanced stats, like things need to turn around for Chase Brown. It's not an unlucky, like the yards before contact are down, the yards after contact are down. Everything looks worse, and he was one of the biggest surprisers last year. So
yeah, they're gonna keep running him right into the guards. Like they just run up the middle with this guy that shouldn't be doing that. They did that with Joe Mixon all the time, and like that's why I like Zach Moss going into last year. It's like the Bengals run the ball up the middle all the time. Moss is more suited. That was my theory. Moss is more suited for that than Chase Brown. And they tried. Just Moss wasn't good enough. Brown's not this great rusher. I feel like he needs Burrow. I am worried about him, but it's not like he has every single carry for the Bengals. So at least he's got that, right? He's got that job on lock.
Yes.
For what it's worth.
What's that?
For what it's worth, in the 7 games Browning played in 2023, Mixon averaged over 18 PPR points per game.
Yes. And Chase Brown was a factor then too. Like Mixon was very good.
Line was better then. Their offensive line was definitely better then.
AJ Brown is a buy low. All right. How are we feeling about AJ Brown?
I thought he started to flash more quickness last week. And I think Philadelphia will throw at least a little more moving forward. And it's a cheap price tag for a guy who was drafted in the top 30 range.
Okay.
I agree. I hope they don't have to change offensive coordinators again. Their offensive plan of attack has not been inspiring through 2 weeks.
But they're 2-0.
Right. Which is even scarier.
Right.
For us.
Okay. So let's see. I've got, looking at this, Emeka Ibuka. You'd give him up for AJ Brown, I assume?
Yep. In a heartbeat.
How about Garrett Wilson or AJ Brown?
Brown.
How about Lad McConkey or AJ Brown?
Brown.
Agreed.
All right, Matthew Golden. Matthew Golden's a buy low for you, Dave.
And this is a cheap one, obviously. In some leagues, you might be able to get him off the waiver wire, but I love the speed. I love the deep targets that he had last week. I would imagine that the Packers can use him a little bit more, or at least vary how they use him in their offense. And he's just someone who I think is still stashable. I know what the track record is of Packers wide receivers and the spreading of targets around. I feel like it's going to be different with Golden because of where they drafted him, the capital invested, and what they saw from him leading up to the season. It hasn't quite translated. He made a couple of mistakes in week 2 that if he just, went after remember that deep ball in the end zone and he's just kind of waiting for it. If he goes after it, that's a touchdown and everybody's going crazy over Matthew Golden. So I'm hoping that he takes some coaching points and he evolves, and maybe we have to be patient with him the same way we have to be patient with some of these rookie running backs. But he's a receiver I would love to have on my bench right now.
Fun fact, Matthew Golden or Jaden Reed is the most dropped wide receiver right now. Matthew Golden's 4th.
I thought
so he should be a throw-in in a trade, if anything.
I thought about dropping Matthew Golden in a 10-team league for Jawan Jennings. And I said, we could set a lineup right. I was like, I have a co-manager. We could set a lineup now without either of these guys. So I'm going to wait because I think that Golden's going to pay off eventually. You could see the speed. He's so dynamic. Now, Christian Watson's on his way back maybe in the next month or so. Jaden Reed's not out for the year. But you could see that Golden has something that the other receivers on the team don't have. So I kind of felt like Jennings is a better short-term play. Golden's a better long-term play. That's how I played it.